Once again, my name is Erin McCandless. If I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at your faces on the side of my screen instead of directly at my camera. But I am the Idaho PTA President, and I am thrilled to have you guys back tonight. Some of you joined us a lot of you joined us on Tuesday, and I'm thrilled that you're back again tonight for part 2 of our training. If you didn't hear me mention it before, I am looking for a place to host the very long, very big video of Tuesday night's training. And as soon as I have that, I'll send out a link, and I'll send out the document that has a link to everything we're going over both Tuesday and Thursday. And I'll send that out no later than tomorrow afternoon to everybody who's registered for this training. So with me tonight, we have, I'm going to introduce our board members. So if each one of you will just give a little wave when I call your name. We have Stephen Rudy, who is our president-elect. I'm just going to be with you here until June of this coming year, and my 2-year term will be up, and Stephen will be taking over as of July 1st. We also have Julie Bigler. She is our Idaho PTA Treasurer. We have, let's see, Mary Kay Ryner is our VP of Membership, and she's also our State Reflections Chair. We have Leslie Anderson. She is our State PTA Secretary. We have Jennifer Prudhomme. She was the outgoing Region 8 Director and is now very generously covering Regions 3, 4, and 7 while they don't have a Region Director, and so that we can have some coverage there for those regions. And we have Leah Bonstead. She is our Region 2 Director, and she's our interim Region 1 Director up in North Idaho. And I don't see Nikki. She might just be joining us late. But if you do see Nikki Thompson, she is our brand new Region 8 Director. So she might poke her head in here later. So that's your board of directors. That's all of us. We're always looking for more people to come join the state board. So if all of this looks like a bunch of fun, we'd love it. And it is, honestly. We'd love for you to come and join us. So on the screen is the agenda for this evening. Just doing our welcome right now. Here in a moment, I'm actually going to call our meeting to order because we are required as a state unit to have an annual meeting as well. And we have a lovely attendance tonight, so we've got plenty of quorum here. We're going to call a meeting to order, and we're actually, the one thing that we need to do as a state board is approve the state budget. So we're going to ask you guys to bear with us for just a few moments while Julie presents the Idaho PTA budget, and we hopefully get an approval on that from our membership. Then I'll adjourn the official business and we'll move into our training. So we're going to talk about membership. We're going to talk a little more in depth about grants and scholarships, reflections, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about operating your PTA in a virtual year. And then again, we'll do lots of giveaways. We'll give away another $100. We're going to give away lots of gift cards. And then some of you commented that you liked my sparkly PTA shirt. So we're going to give away a few of those tonight too. And then we'll do a Q&A and just try to answer whatever general questions you might have. You can always drop questions into the chat box as well. Our secretary is going to just going to keep an eye on that, and I'll keep an eye on it too when I'm not presenting, and I will also try to drop links in that chat box too. But once again, pretty much anything that we're going to cover will be in that document that we'll send out to everybody. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:11 p.m. We have one agenda item on our official budget, or on our official business tonight, and that is the approval of the Idaho PTA budget. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Julie Bigler, and she's going to present the Idaho PTA budget. And when she's done, we will make room for questions, comments, discussion, and then we will hopefully use the unanimous consent to take a vote. And if that doesn't work, then we will proceed through another method, but we're going to try that this evening. So take it away, Julie.
All right. I hope you guys can all see our budget here. Let me scroll up a little bit. It's not going to work. We're just going to have to go line by line here. For the 2021 budget, we have decreased our income significantly because we knew we would probably have a little bit of decrease as far as with COVID and everything. You know, we just figure it's going to be a harder year. So you can see that our membership dues, we budgeted for approximately $27,000 in income there. Insurance premiums about $2,500. Reflections $1,000. PTA store $150. Convention $7,500. And then our statewide unit dues for $30,000. Let me move this up. For a total of $68,150. You will notice in our there we go. In our expenditures, we have national dues of $15,000, insurance expense of $2,000, convention at $15,000. You know, if we're able to hold a in-person convention, that's what we've got budgeted for that. We have our advocacy day in January that we budget about $2,500 for, as well as some other advocacy things that we work on. Office expenses of $12,000, wages and taxes of $4,000, accounting fees of $500, PTA store $150, board expenses $5,000, national events $5,000, affiliated organizations that we're a part of are $1,500, summer leadership conference $1,500, field service $3,000, reflections for $2,000, unit grants, that's the COVID grant that we are doing of $25,000, region funds $2,250, scholarship, we have some scholarships that we want to start giving out, and we've budgeted $10,000 for that. And then unallocated funds that we may need to move money around of $15,000 for a total of $122,150. We are aware that our income budget is a lot lower than what our expenses are, but we feel like, you know, where we didn't have some expenses this year, that we had money to put in other areas this year, and so that's why the difference is there. Are there any questions?
Yeah, and I'll just interject a little bit just to let you know. So there are things that we know that as a state unit, we're not going to be spending this year. We know that we are not going to be spending much on field service because we're likely not going to be traveling around the state with COVID. We know that national events were going to come. If we spend anything in that, it might just be some registration fees for our national conference, but we know we're likely nobody's traveling. But we also didn't want to zero those buckets out. We wanted to keep those in place, so we sort of, as a placeholder, so we know what we would typically spend in there, but we know that we'll come in far under that. Also, we're spending about, we have on here that we're spending about twice as much as we're bringing in. We know we won't spend all of this money that's been budgeted. And also we've been sitting, and we have a lot of money just in our savings. You know, we got very deliberate a few years ago about ensuring that we were very, very fiscally conservative and making sure that we had enough money to run the state unit should our membership decline. And that's probably what's going to happen this year with COVID and lots of people going online to school. We know our membership income is going to be down considerably. But again, we had a bit of money sitting in reserves, and we really felt strongly about pushing forward those COVID grants and pushing forward our scholarships this year. So that's why you see a big difference between our income and expenditures. And our budget's just a little wonky this year. I think everybody's will be. We just don't know what's going to happen, so we did keep those placeholders in there. Any questions that we can answer as a board on this budget? Feel free to raise your hand, wave, flag us down, unmute. and just pipe in. You can drop something in the chat. Anything you want to do there. I don't see anybody flagging us down frantically, and I don't see anything in the chat. So with that, I am going to attempt the unanimous consent and ask if anybody, so I'm going to ask for a motion from someone to approve our budget, and then I'm going to ask if there are any objections. If you don't have an objection, remain silent. If you do have an objection, you can unmute yourself and just say, I object. You don't have to give a reason why, and then we can open up the floor to discussion. So I would entertain a motion to approve the budget for the 2021 year. All right. Thank you, Kelly. So Kelly Lobb has motioned to approve the budget. And then I'm going to ask if there's a second. Feel free to drop that in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and second it. Okay, and Jen Alvey has seconded it. And so are there any objections? And once again, if you don't object, just remain silent. If you do object, please drop it in the chat or unmute yourself. Make sure I give everybody enough time. Okay, great. So hearing no objections, that motion carries, and the Idaho PTA 2021 budget has been approved. And with that, that concludes our business meeting for the night. So I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the official business of our membership meeting. Thank you guys so much for playing along with us during that. That's a crucial element of Idaho PTA, and we really want to pay out this $25,000 in COVID grants, and we can't do that unless we've got an approved budget. So that's great. Okay. All right. So we now get to give some stuff away. Well, excited about that. I'm going to share my screen and go to wheel of names here. I think I got everybody. I got everybody up to, I think somebody had registered, I think at like 5:30, and I think I got everybody. Is anybody here that registered after 5:30 p.m.? If you are, you can speak up and I'll add you to the little drawing list. But okay, go ahead and spin. I had a lot of fun with this the other night, by the way. All right. Chelsea Vega, are you here? Are you trying to talk, Chelsea?
She shouted yes.
She says, yeah, she's shouting yes in the chat. She can't unmute. Okay, Chelsea, tell us in the chat if you would like to have a Joann Fabrics gift card, Subway, McDonald's, Starbucks, or a sparkly PTA shirt. Starbucks, she says. Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to remove you, and then I'm going to do another. What did it do? Elise. Is Elise Smith here?
Oh, darn it. I am here.
Yay, all right.
Sorry, I'm in my car.
That's
so
okay.
I don't know if it's working.
That's okay. Elise,
From an appointment.
would you like Joann, Subway, McDonald's, Starbucks, or a Sparkle PTA shirt?
Let's go with Joann.
All right. Okay, great. Okay, we're going to do one more real quick.
Thank you.
All right. Melanie Jones, are you here? Is Melanie with us tonight? I don't see her name on the list of folks. Okay, I'm gonna remove her and spin again. So Shia, is that how you, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not, and I'm not sure if you're here.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, is that the right pronunciation? I probably totally messed it up.
It's very close. It's Tasha.
Oh, Tasha. I actually, as soon as I said that, I go, I bet it's just Tasha. Tasha, would you like Joanne's, Subway, McDonald's, or Starbucks?
My son says McDonald's.
Oh, okay. All right. So once again, I'm going to remove everybody after you win a gift card. And at the very end, we'll put everybody back in for the $100 drawing for your PTA. Okay. With that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, turn it over. Membership and our new just launched membership materials from National PTA.
Let me unmute here. Okay, so we actually really would like it. I mean, we would love, it would be great if we could have a an increase, or you know, at least have the goal to possibly even keep your membership the same as it was last year. That would actually be something that would be really nice as well. So anyway, National PTA actually this year took some surveys from different people. Maybe some of you actually did participate in the survey and filled out. They sent it to quite a few. I know we had the link on our Facebook page, and they were just asking like how people feel about membership, some things that they could do to help people get the word out. And so they actually had this campaign for this year that I'm really excited about. It's basically PTA for your child is the theme for National, and we're just gonna reinvent the wheel. We're just going continuing it right on with Idaho PTA. And so I'm just gonna kind of go through it and show you how the program works and some different things like that. So it's PTA for your child, because that is, I think, the most important thing is to get right down there and get to the child. That was one thing that they really emphasized, and they were having a time, is people didn't quite understand exactly what the PTA was about, that it is for advocacy for all children, to make sure we had our past our immediate past Idaho PTA President, Leslie Shy, said she started doing PTA, especially at the state level, when she started volunteering in her children's classes and realizing that not every child out there had the same advantages, the same home advantages that her children had. That there were a lot of kids that came from, you know, single parent families, or that their parents were struggling as far as financially, and or that they needed some interventions that they weren't getting. And so that made her decide to commit to PTA and to Idaho PTA so that she could make a difference for and hopefully improve the lives of all children. So here's how to get your resource bank, your membership campaign. So you'll go onto National PTA, the pta.org website, hit run your PTA, and right here is the membership campaign, and it will have it will explain it. It has some nice informational videos. It actually explains more about the process they went through with the surveys and everything to come up with this membership campaign. And then it has the nice downloadables that you guys can use. And so As you can see, it has everything. I kind of took some screenshots of what it has. So it has like a recorded webinar on the introduction and training for membership, and some more training that you can go through and watch. They introduced the campaign at convention. And then it also has like these particular resources that you guys can go ahead and download and use for your PTA to increase your membership, to run a membership campaign. So anyway, they have changed. So PTA is now a verb. They wanted to make sure that it was an action instead of just a noun, instead of just an association. It's an action to invest in your child's potential. So the action would be to invest in your child's potential, to volunteer in for your child's potential, and to advocate for your child's potential. And so it needs to be an action. Whereas, so they have these really nice, this is the campaign, the implementation campaign. They have some different fun video, some fun things that they've done with posters and different things like that. I'm going to kind of show you guys how to customize them in just a little bit. So I said lots of things. They're trying to, I guess you could say, there's a I guess go away from the stigma, the stipulations, the that come with PTA, and so they've kind of done like, so they go from fun activities to fund activities, so activities that will fund different science equipment, back to school supplies, different things like that. And so they have these comparable posters. You can go in there. So there's email, there's banners. If you guys noticed, I was actually able to kind of manipulate some of the different graphics that were sent out to do our invitation for this training. So you guys are probably going to see that a lot from us. So there's different things that you can put down, emails, websites, banners that can be changed around, posters and flyers. If you can see, there's a little blank section for different things like that. And this is the membership video, the kickoff video from, it's about a minute long. I'm going to play it for you guys. This was made by National PTA.
PTA to bring sunshine to someone's cloudy day. The reason why IPTA is to be a voice and an advocate for all children and to help bring families and communities together.
PTA to bring innovative programming and create meaningful engagement among the families of school communities.
PTA by being a read and lunchroom buddy for first and second graders at Jefferson Elementary School.
Ayudo a la comunidad traduciendo para las familias en Erenville High School y donando comida a la comunidad en Erenville.
Anyway, I thought that was a fun video. the man in there that said he is a reading buddy, that is Donald Dunn. He's the National PTA Secretary Treasurer, and we have a lot of fun with him at convention when we see him. He's a lot of fun. So they have a nice implementation. Yeah.
He just put his money where his mouth was with membership,
Yeah.
and he just recently joined 2 Idaho PTA units, I think Webster and Liberty Elementary, and he just became members of both of those. Pretty fun.
Yeah, that's fun. So we have they have an implementation checklist so that you can go through and read. So it says participate in a webinar. That's one of the ones that you can watch on there, or you know what, you can count this as well since we're doing an overview. Read the toolkit kit, inform and talk about it with your executive board, update your website or Facebook page, make joining easy. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And then create a schedule, vary the visuals, solicit families, use constant branding, and ask. I think that's really the most important thing. Number one, you've got to ask. Okay, so it has promote your PTA. These are the customizable materials. Now, if you notice, I went in there. This one is actually customized for Idaho PTA. So here's a picture of us at convention. Here's a picture of Erin in front of the when she was speaking to the education committee, and here is our executive board with a picture of us with the governor that I was able to add in there. And so promoting your PTA is you can do this on social media, yard and fence signs out in front of your school. A lot of you, I know, at least in our district, the schools are pretty much closed to parent volunteers. So there's just, you kind of have to get creative. If you're able to, if the teachers are comfortable sending information and PTA information out to parents when they do their various emails, that would be great. And then obviously send out emails to those that you have. You should have last year's, you should have the information from all of your members that you had last year. That is kind of your first line, is to go ahead and email or text those that were members last year and ask them to renew their membership this year. So the ease in joining, pretty much because a lot of the schools are closed and because you do have some people who are doing online school, finding a way to get that money, to collect that information from them that is easier and user-friendly is really the way to go. We're a partner with Chatter Up. That one's a really nice one because you can use it to basically, you can import pictures. If you've seen, like if you've registered for a convention or used it before, this is how we take as Idaho PTA our membership for you guys to input. It's fairly easy, user-friendly to do. We talked a little bit about Tuesday on Venmo, so I looked it up just to kind of see. So, and I realized that pretty much most of us are in violation of Venmo's rules. Because really it was supposed to be for families and friends to send money to each other, and it's not supposed to be for accepting money for goods and services, which I do all the time, and I paid my son's guitar teacher that way, and so I think most of us are. The thing with Venmo is if you do use it for your PTA or you use it for goods and services, if there's a problem as far as getting your money, it's not guaranteed. So they're not going to cover if there ends up being an issue, they're not going to cover it. So it's kind of like, that's kind of the disclosure for them. I know Utah PTA, when I went on their state website, said that they are not recommending using it just for that particular reason. But they are recommending that their PTAs use PayPal if they would like to have a way to collect money. So if there's a PTA out there that possibly has used Facebook Messenger, we would love to hear about that and that experience. Or if there's other ways that you guys have collected memberships and dues online, to be able to do that. We would love to hear about them. We would love to be able to offer other avenues to people, as many options that are going to make it user as friendly as you can. You can also get it on Google Forms, your information, and then have them pay elsewhere. Now, the nice thing about Cheddar Up and Google Forms is you are able to collect the information and get a spreadsheet right from both of those avenues. And then because you need to send a spreadsheet of your members to Idaho PTA, it's already made up for you. And you can add to them. So if you have people that fill out a paper form, you can add them in there on those. And then that way it's just easy. You don't have to try and make your own spreadsheet. You can just download it right from those forms. So make sure it's easy to join. The easier, the better, is what I say. It's, yeah, people like being able to do things online. I know I do, than to have to fill out anything by hand. And especially right now, where you're not going to see a lot of people's open houses were canceled, where they usually would ask for members. And so it's really important to always have that there. So this is kind of some questions that maybe, how long should our PTA's membership campaign run? Continuously. It should be all year. The opportunity should be year round. So if you use like Cheddar Up, they should be able to hit Cheddar Up now and in February, March, and be able to join your PTA anytime this year. Students enrolled in school online, can their parents still join PTA? Yes, absolutely. National PTA actually has many programs and resources to help support online learners and their families. They're really trying hard to include them. So yes, please continue to include those families that are doing remote learning this year. And as we said, anybody can join PTA. We talked about that on Tuesday, that they don't have to be a parent in your school. It can be community leaders, businesses, aunts, uncles, grandparents, childcare providers, anybody who's interested in advocating for children. But I would definitely try to include your online participants this year to make sure that they are still feeling a part of your school community. So with the school year being different, you may not have a lot of PTA activities planned as far as physical activities that you're going to get together. Do we still need to ask for members? Yes, yes, you still do. Advocating for your children, it never ends. We have seen a lot of advocating for their kids, especially with this, is you have parents who want their kids in school, parents who are choosing to do online. Everybody right now especially wants the very best for their kids, to get them the very best education and to make sure that they are being healthy, that they're going to stay healthy, and that they're going to also have the education that they need. So it's really important, especially right now in this climate, to be an advocate for your child. There's lots of things, and not even just education. There's lots of children who are having various issues with, not being able to get the food or the health care or mental health issues. There's so many issues affecting children right now with this COVID, and PTA has been at that forefront trying to advocate for children. So yes, continue to do so. And then it has join for your child is kind of our thing. So I am going to take a quick switch over here and kind of show you how it works. It's super simple to make a custom thing for you. So it'll be in PowerPoint. You'll have all these little icons, places that you can put your pictures that actually have to go with your PTA. So here's what I did: is I went on some of your Facebook pages around the state of Idaho, and I tried to gather up some pictures of you guys as PTA. So some of you might see them. So all you're gonna do is click on the little icon, it brings it up, and you're able to put in different pictures and make it custom to pictures of your PTA, PTA members, of your children. Make sure when you're using pictures of children from your school, and hopefully you guys are doing this already, is you have to make sure that they have signed those release statements for photos and various things like that. And so a lot of times you may get pictures of like general pictures, the sides of people, of heads, different things like that. And so it's really easy to gather those. I think these kids are getting ready to run right here. So once you've got all your pictures in to make your custom thing, you're gonna go to your file and save as. You can save it as, so you'll go down, you'll type in, say, PTA poster. And then you'll hit, if you want to do like a PDF, you'll go PDF. It'll say options. And then you can hit that you only want the current slide. And save, and now you have saved a copy of your poster that you guys can go and print or use up. You can also do it as, when I did it, let's see, we'll do PTA poster 2 as a JPEG file. If you hit save, it'll bring up and it'll ask you every slide or current slide. So you'll just hit current slide, and that's how you save it, as a PDF or as a JPEG file, so that you guys can use these. So I really encourage you to use these materials. And you know what? Post them online, email them to us, send us out, share them on our Facebook page. We would love to see what you guys are doing with all the new materials that National PTA is sending to you. And so just kind of in closing, it's really important right now to continue with those membership campaigns, to continue asking for them. And has anybody received, I mailed them out on Monday, has anybody received their stars yet? Now, they were mostly sent to the schools, so check with your school if you haven't been in there to see if you guys have received your stars. If you've won money, there was a few of you that from our challenge, those are in there. The checks are in there for those of you who also won money. So we're really excited about that. If you guys want to, go ahead and take a picture with your star and send it to us. We would also love to see those too, pictures of your PTA board holding up your star. So anyway, that is all I have in membership. Keep up the good work and share any ideas. We love to hear them.
Thank you so much, Mary Kay. We really appreciate it. We are slightly behind schedule, so I'm going to share quickly and try to get through a couple drawings real quick before we turn it over to Stephen, who's going to talk about grants. So just one second here. Wheel of names. Let's see here. Oh, all right, Lisa Morgan. Are you here tonight, Lisa? I know you were here Tuesday. I don't see you.
Yeah, I'm here. I was
Sure.
gonna just try to chat.
Perfect. What can we get for you, Lisa? Joanne, Subway, McDonald's, Starbucks, or Sparkle shirt?
The sparkly shirt would be fun. Thank you.
Right. Okay, perfect. Let's do a couple more here. All right, Sarah Sarah Bainey. Are you here with us?
Here.
Yay! All right, Sarah, what can we get for you? We've got everything to choose from still. Sparkle shirt, Starbucks, McDonald's, Subway, or Joann's.
How about Joann's?
All right. Okay.
Thank
One
you.
more. You're welcome. Congratulations. Oh, just clicked over. Michelle Verdugo, are you here? All right. Well, she's missing out. Okay. Sarah Warnock. Uh-oh. Okay. Try one more. First name, last name, that doesn't work. That's not going to be a good winner. All right, Kelly. Let's see. I'm wondering if the last name got cut off. No. Okay. We'll just move on if this last person isn't here. Jody Larson, are you with us? Nope. All right. Wow, we struck out on that last one, didn't we? Okay. All right. Well, we'll come back to that later. Maybe we'll give out an extra prize at the end. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn over the time to Stephen. Stephen, we're a little behind schedule, so you might have to shave just a few minutes off or cover a lot of ground quickly. But I'm going to go ahead and mute. Stephen's going to share his screen, and he's going to talk to you a little bit more about grants and scholarships available to you as PTA members and unit.
Hopefully I got this showing up. Okay, so today we're going to talk about grants, and the first thing we're going to cover is overcoming the fears of grants, where to find grants, and grants the PTA way, how to fill out applications, and then we're going to kind of recap. The first thing I thought about is people are always scared of grants, and when I looked at Wikipedia's definition, I realized why. It starts out saying non-refundable funds, products, disbursements given on one party, yada, 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 yada. And that began putting enough fear in me. First thing people think about is audience analysis, purpose of analysis, drafting, formatting, and all this extra work. When you think about grants, instead of thinking of it that extreme, thinking of it more simple. Grants are really, it's just money you don't pay back. And it's always great not to have to pay back money.
Hey, Stephen, are you meaning to be sharing your screen? There's nothing up.
Is that showing? Let's see here if it's going to show. Let's see here. It's supposed to be. Let's see if it shows now. Okay. Let's see. Okay, is it showing anything now?
Nope.
Nope. Let's just go back to the other way here and we'll do screen two. There we go. Is that better? Let's see here.
Yes, okay, we can see your desktop.
Okay.
You gotta clean that up, man.
That's what my kids are for. Okay. Okay.
All right, we can see it now.
Okay. So my first thing is we need to find a way not to be so afraid of grants. They're not going to get us up. We may get some, we may lose some. But the challenge is to remember to apply from. Okay. Let me introduce you. This is Jason Brown. Jason Brown is a PE teacher at Lake Ridge Elementary. He coaches both high school track and high school cross country. He's a father of 3, and like you, he has little or no time. Last year, Jason approached me that he wanted to find a way to get more equipment for his PE class at the elementary school. He had gone to formal grant programs and learned all those scary things. When I sat down to him, I said, PTA has so many grants, so we'll learn more about what Jason has done, because like you, he has no time, but he was successful with his grant writing process. Now, where to find grants? There are many ways to find grants, but the easiest that I found are 1, applying for our COVID grant. Mountain America has a grant that they have. They give out to several grants for up to $15,000. Your school foundation is another great place to send your teachers for resources because they give out grants just like we do. The National PTA has several grants in several categories. If the National PTA has a program, they have a grant to give to schools to help out. The one thing I pointed out to a lot of these don't go applied for. Last year, I think in Idaho, I think we had 4 schools applying. We had probably more than 4, but 4 did get grants. Myself, I was able to apply for a grant and was able to get $5,000. The beauty of the PTA grant, they're advocating for you. Like many grants that were given out for these programs, COVID shut a lot of them down. So the National PTA went out and said, let us repurpose these grants. And they allowed these programs and companies allowed us to repurpose our grants for COVID support in our communities. Okay. Now, one thing we never think of is PTA as a grant maker, okay? But PTA has many programs, and they send their staff spends time looking for grants. So think of PTA as a grant maker. In our evolution, the National PTA has been a grant maker approaches for the past 4 years through diversifying the type of grants they offer, significantly expanding the number of grants given out to PTAs, incorporating corporations and guarantee selections, and providing intense training and support. Not only do they want to give the grants, they want to train you how to get them. So they know if they don't give the money, if the money isn't given away, it goes back to the company. So they want to make sure every dime is applied for so they can give it and use it. Here's a snapshot that PTAs had over the last year. They have given schools and PTAs $1.5 million. $889,000 through our PTA Connect program, which is our digital safety program. $528,000 through the STEM and Family program. $85,000 in your Take Your Family to School Work Week, and the Health and Safety program. Now that's not including the current grants that have come out. Here you can see from the 2000 last year, we had grants that benefited 300.9 thousand kids and 20.2 thousand adults. And there's equity consideration. They do take an effect. They take an effect of the Title I breakdown. 58% of the guarantees come from Title I schools during the year 2000 grant cycle. National PTA standard is split in at least a 50-50 split. Equity consideration considers new PTA recipients. 230 first-time grantees received a grant in 2018. 450 first-time grantees were able to receive a grant in 2019. And last year we had another 154 first-time grantees that never had received a grant prior. The PTA disbursement is 3% of the grants are given to the region and districts and states that help pass those on to their local units. But 90% of the grants are given to PTAs like you. Okay. As you can see in the map, there are a lot of different states that are benefiting. Now, of course, I'm glad we're not purple, but as you can see, we're not quite up to yellow. There's no reason that we can't apply the grants, and you'll learn how easy it is later on. And I'm going to cut through some of these because we're running on time, but the larger states, of course, have more applied because they have more units. The benefit of the PTA is not only helps market your PTA, it increases visibility in the community. It's an opportunity, a way to increase membership, and it's a way to act with community decision makers. It's a chance for you to connect. PTA is focusing on new grants that struck with infrastructure, event night modeling, such as the different events that we hold at our school. So these are some of the things that that they're trying to do because they want your school to be successful. In the future, they want to help increase more family engagement because that is one of the backbones of PTA is the family engagement. Developing new programs that you come to them, and that was part of the survey, to find ways to better support your PTA. They want to promote all programs. The key takeaway from this is National PTA continues to offer and appeal relevant grants to PTA at all levels. Over the last 4 years, over 1,000 PTAs have received grants. Around 1.5 million in grant fundings were given to PTAs. They're going out to companies, and many companies are stopped giving to individuals and are going to groups like the PTA, and the PTA is going out because they want to make sure the money gets to you. Now I'm gonna do a little video here today of one of our organizations that's gonna give you some tips and clues. So listen in here. She should come up here shortly. And of course, now watch it not do what it's supposed to. Go.
Unfortunately, there's no sound there, Stephen, if there's supposed to be,
okay.
Which I'm assuming her lips are moving.
Okay, okay, let's see here. Let's see what comes up. Now, and this skit is actually going to be it's in your PTA boot camp. So we're going to just save time. We're going to go ahead and skip this one and move on to save time. And we'll recover what she's covering right now in the end. So let's go ahead and just save time because I know we're running behind, Erin said. So now filling out applications. Many of you saw last time, Erin showed us a copy. But if you look at our own grant for our COVID grant, it's a very simple, basic grant. And the one thing with PTA, we keep the grants simple. We want to get it so you're not scared. So looking at this grant, this is how most of our grants will be for the state. As we go here. Here is the Mountain America. That's the another easy source. They're an Idaho PTA partner, as well as a PTA national sponsor. Again, if you look here, if you just go to their website, it pulls up, it gives you information, it gives you other resources that you have that you can use for your PTA. And again, if you look at their application process, very simplistic. The irony is many people are afraid of not being able to give enough words. What I've found with applying for these grants, it's more you have too much to say and you have to shrink it. Because if you look here, 2,000 characters isn't as long as you think it is. But that's the one thing that they have. And of course, with theirs, it says financial wellness, but benefiting any kid is financial wellness. Okay. Then I'm going to get the next slide. Here is your typical PTA national application. Just like the others, it's 3 questions. Sometimes they're 5. It's whatever topics that the sponsor wants to have, but the PTA wants to be simplistic. The beauty of a national PTA grant, if you're going to apply for one, 2 of the questions on all the applications are the same, and you check a box and it copies it to all the applications. So you can apply for all grants at the same time, and you may only have to fill out 1 box that's different. Okay. Now remember Jason wanted for equipment for his PE class, his program at his school. So he and I sat down and talked, and we looked at the PTA grants that were out there national. And there was one by Nestle Waters called the Hydration Grant. And as we looked over it, the grant was for $1,000. Now we look at what programs his school did. They hold a jogathon every year. And what we did with their PTA is we wrote into a hydration information and education with the jogathon. Their jogathon is not as much a fundraiser, but as an education. event. And so with the money left over, which was quite a bit because as PTAs we're very frugal, he was able to use it towards PE equipment. The beauty of national PTAs, if your grant is not used, you can resource that excess money back to other things for your PTA. That's the real beauty of the national grants. Now, here's kind of what Alyssa was talking about. And so here are the grant reads. Know what grants exist. Know how to apply for them. Go to the PTA.org, sign up, you'll get newsletters, and I'll show you in a second one that comes here. And a lot of times there'll be grants that when they open, it'll tell you when they close, it'll give you that simple reminder. Go to the PTA.org and bookmark the grant page, check it often. Unlike looking at your budget, they're looking more at your story. Make sure you know how it's going to benefit. Look at the strengths of your PTA. When I applied for the grant for Region 9, I just focused on how digital safety in the home was at risk at the highest with the Title I schools. Especially since Region 9 covers a lot of rural areas as well as urban, I was able to point out some statistics that we had there. Share how the grant will impact your community. Be enthusiasm. Let your excitement come out through your words. Answer all the questions. Include concrete detail, explanation, explain the answers clearly. Promote family engagement because usually it's for our event. And always get a second eye because what you may see, someone else may see something that makes it even better. Like I said, PTA offers over 500 grants throughout the year, and this is even increasing as we're seeing more needs. And let's see if I can get that other item up here for us. It's out here. Okay, so like I said, when you sign up for your back to school kits and things like that, you get included in a lot of newsletters. Every month, you'll get a link that says leadership briefing. It gives announcements, upcoming programs, reminds you of your backpack resources, notes in the backpack, and then it also gives you if there's a grant. This year I noticed, and it just recently, there were 2 new grants. One, they're starting to watch other national grants. So they actually have a grant from the National Center of Learning Disabilities. I've got dyslexia. I mean, it made me excited to see that there was something for our kids who have special needs. And then there's now a new grant that I've not seen PT yet, but as they mentioned in their grant maker video, they're looking for more avenues to find ways. And we've got the FAIR grant, which is the Food Allergy Research and Education grant, which is new. And they're looking at, as you can see here, and this just came out, so these are all new, show that they want to give 15 local PTAs serving Title I schools an opportunity at grants that will help in this area. And so and then it gives you other things to remind you of. So that's the one thing you want to do is you want to get involved with seeing that. That's pretty much the PTA grants in a nutshell. They want to make it easy. They know your time is valuable. They want to make sure you're getting your full potential. Okay, and like I said, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Erin. I hope I did it quick enough for you. Okay, let's see here. And
I selected unshare for you, Stephen.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't look at that messy desktop anymore. Thank you so much. As you were talking, I did drop links into the chat for national PTA's grants and awards, also to Idaho PTA's COVID relief grant, as well as the Mountain America Credit Union grant. So I just want to give another plug for Idaho PTA's grant. You guys just helped us approve that money tonight in our budget. So we are giving away $25,000 this year in COVID relief grants. And we talked about this on Tuesday a little bit, but I want to just remind you again that those applications are due until September 28th, 28th or 29th. Uh-oh.
And Erin?
Myself.
I'd just like to interject that you guys, you can also apply for the Mountain America COVID grant for COVID issues also, they did state. So
Yeah, there's lots of opportunities right now. And so for our grant specifically for COVID relief, we didn't want to pigeonhole you into one specific category. We wanted to leave it open so you can tell us what you need at your school and why you need it and how much it costs. So we've gotten a couple of really great, a handful of really great applications, but I think right now we only have 6 applications. So we're not even close to expending that $25,000 if we awarded every single person who's applied so far. So please think about what your school community needs. We've had applications for hand soap dispensers in every classroom in a school. We've had applications for sound system improvements for children with hearing impairments in their resource rooms because of COVID and masks and not being able to read people's lips. So there's lots of different things. It can support a new program that you're just starting. It can support something that you're already you do every year that you know you might not be able to support this year with diminished membership dues. Anyways, I really want to encourage you to apply for that. And then really quickly, I just want to share with you Mountain America's Mountain America's grant. They offer the same grant every year. And I am telling you guys, they have very few applicants for this, for these grants. And they give out more than just one. You know, they give out they give out several. But this is a $1,500 grant. This can go to a teacher or to a PTA. And this is school supplies or projects supporting K-12 classrooms. So they're super broad as well. And those applications are open until October 9th. You do have to be a Mountain America member to apply for this. So that's kind of the little hiccup with that one. But also Mountain America does offer you a $100 bonus when you open up a checking account for your PTA there. And I personally bank there, and I know lots of PTAs who do as well. And they are a great, they do provide great services, and they've been a great partner to PTA. If you don't know, we partner with Mountain America, and they actually offer Idaho PTA membership as a qualification for joining their credit union. So if somebody goes in and they don't meet the other qualifications of Mountain America, they can join the PTA. Mountain America pays their membership dues for the year, and then they can become a member. So it's really a really neat program.
Erin, we have a question.
Yeah.
Does the PTA member applying for the grant just need to be a member?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. For the Mountain America grant, yes. You just need to be a member. So if you're a teacher who's applying, then you would need to, they would need to be a member of Mountain America if they're applying directly for their classroom.
And the minimum membership account that you have to open is $5 to be a member of the credit union. You have to have an account for at least $5. And for those schools that don't have it locally, that's going to be Region 2, you can open a remote account and still qualify. So you don't have to have the credit union in your backyard. So if there's not a Mountain America, you can open an online account with the $5 and you would still qualify. Because that was one question I did ask Carissa.
They also offer lots of trainings as well, specifically tailored to PTAs and parents and families. So there's a little database of resources there, especially if you have one in your community. They're willing to come out to your PTA meeting and give presentations when we're back to, holding meetings in person, but I'm sure that they would also conduct one virtually as well. So, okay, I know that we're already behind schedule, but I do want to give away a few more gift cards because those are really fun to do. So, let's see. Oh, there's my Zoom chat from work. Get rid of that guy. Okay. Let's go over here to Wheel of Names. Give away a couple of these guys. Megan Jones?
I'm here.
Yay! Megan's here. All right, Megan. I think the only thing that's gone is Joanne's. So you've got Subway, McDonald's, Starbucks, or Sparkle's shirt.
I'll take the sparkle shirt, please.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Ruth, my friend Ruth from up north, are you here? Aw, Ruth's not here, darn it. That's gonna be Laura. Laura, are you here? Laura Amar? No, we've had some people abandon us. All right. Bethany Moore, are you here?
I am here. Wow.
Hey. Bethany, Subway, McDonald's, Starbucks, or Sparkle PTA shirt?
Starbucks.
All right. Okay, and we'll do one more here. Kathleen Ross Porter, are you here? Oh, you guys, it's getting really hard to. I just want to give away some stuff, man. Try one more time. Eileen, are you here? All right. Well, we will abandon, and maybe by the time we're done at the end here, we'll just be giving away all sorts of stuff to just whoever's left. Okay. So I'll stop sharing my screen, and Mary is our reflections chair. She's going to talk about reflections, and I know some of you already participate, but if you don't, I really hope that you'll listen to Mary Kay's presentation and think about participating in reflections. It is such an amazing art program, and especially in a year where I think kids need to be doing something special and feel kind of special, it's a great opportunity to allow them to do something that's outside of a computer screen. And so I really hope you think about participating, and I know Mary Kay will address it, but if you're just starting out, you know, you don't have to participate in all of the different categories. You can start with just having your school community participate in something like visual arts or even literature, and it is just really a neat program. So Mary Kay, take it away.
Okay, how much time do I have so I don't go over?
I'm muted. I usually don't do that. You have about 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and share this. Okay, so kind of a background, I guess you could say, with me and reflections is I was actually a couple of years ago, I was winding down. I was burnt out. I was ready to be done, but I had signed up to help with reflections to chair the state reflections, and going through all of the projects and everything, it just absolutely inspired me and renewed my why I was doing PTA, and it really definitely was like, okay, this is it. This is why I'm here. Is for these kids. And so it is truly amazing. If you haven't participated, if your school hasn't participated, or if you personally haven't helped out with reflections, it is amazing, and it is very inspiring to see how creative and talented these children are. So just kind of a quick overview of reflections. It is an art program that National PTA has had. It celebrated its 50th year last year, so this is year 51 of reflections. And so they have it as reflect, create, and then celebrate. There are 6 different categories. There is dance, choreography, film production, literature, music composition, photography, visual arts, and then there is a special artist division. And so people in the children in the special education program can either participate in the age group that they are that their abilities are with, or they can have or they can be in with the special artist division. It's a separate one, so they can do any of the projects under that. This one is pretty amazing to see what some of these children come up with, and they really do. It's a really good thing for them. This year's program theme is I Matter Because, so I am actually very excited to see what comes out of the projects this year for this particular theme. So everything has a theme, and so all of the projects need to run in with this theme. So I am actually going to, for this training, I am going to train you on running a virtual reflections program, because I think many of you, this is how it's going to end up being for you guys, is you're going to end up running them virtual. On National PTA's website under reflections, they have a whole thing on running a virtual training and protocols for running a virtual reflections program. So we'll get started. So getting started, you just register your PTA at National Reflections Program. It's just like name, unit number, address, contact. It's really short, so that you have it in there, and then you can go in and access all the materials through the National PTA website or through our Idaho PTA website. Get some people to support and help you, and get some judges to do their work. So keep track of important dates. So you need to make sure that you set a date as to when you want to start your program and when you want to have all the submissions put in, and then when you want the judging to be done. Recruit your volunteers. You can have several of them that kind of help, and they're each in charge of a different thing. Promote your program. So you're going to have to get creative on this one. Again, a lot of it's the same ideas as the membership was. Email, Facebook, having the teachers help with the communication, is getting the information out there to your community. So as it says if something doesn't work, rethink, rework, and don't give up. That was in the training. And if you guys end up with, again, if you have a flyer or a fun way that you have advertised for your reflections, or you have any ideas, please share them. See, so you have your your email and social media campaigns. Like membership, they actually have some flyers, some different pictures, buttons that are formatted for the different. There's a Twitter one, there's Facebook, Instagram, all of those that they have formatted that will fit in those particular social media platforms for you. So you can pick one or multiple platforms. Obviously your teachers, that's who, if they can hand out the flyers, if you can give them flyers to send home with their kids, if you can send them different, emails, different informations to their children. Also have them help. That might be a good project. I know a lot of teachers that is a project, like an art project or a writing project. They'll take that theme and give it to their students. And so then that way they can enter in our one of our local elementary schools, their special education program classroom has those special education children enter projects, and so every year, and it's really exciting for them. Signs, again, your signs that you can do on the fence, your drive-by, your pickup and drop-off location, so that parents are seeing those different things. And then highlight, right now, especially as they're talking about, is children's emotional needs are not being met. They're having a really hard time, especially those older children, and being able to help them. Like art, expression, and expressing themselves really helps with their social emotional needs. Just kind of a quick thing too is that, because I know it is affecting a lot of older children too, is if for some reason if you have a high schooler or a middle schooler, somebody who wants to enter their child into reflections and their school is not a PTA school, all they need to do is, so say your elementary school, if you guys decide we're going to go ahead and we're going to allow middle school and high schoolers to enter our reflections, their parents, or even them, because students over 6th grade can be members of the PTA, need to be a member of your local PTA unit, and then you are able to take their projects as well. So students who have always entered as elementary school kids who still want to be able to enter can still do that. So use your technology, use those platforms to promote. There is a promotional video. It's right here. For time wise, I'm not going to play it, but it is on the PTA website in those particular, in with the promotional materials. It's about 1.5 minutes. It introduces the theme and kind of gives a little bit of an overview of reflections. It's something that definitely can be tapped into, be played at school, or to be played online for those students who are online. Reach all students. So even the students that are being homeschooled this year are online. They are definitely welcome to participate in reflections. They also have a really fun at-home parent activity that you can get on under the reflections tab that the parents can go through and do with their kids at home to increase that you can have as a take-home project, and also send to those parents who are online schooling. So you're going to gather entries. Again, you're going to have to be creative as far as how you're going to collect those entries this year. So there's several different ways. There's an entry form. The nice thing is this entry form you can download. It's a fillable one. This year, they are allowing, National PTA is allowing a typed signature instead of a written signature for the reflections, because they know most people are probably going to be submitting through email or digitally. So they fill it out. They've also made it so it's really easy to highlight different things for judging. Google Drive is a way to be able to have your students, if your PTA has a Google account and is able to have a Google Drive that you can have parents send in, or most likely students probably may even know more than their parents about sending in for Google Drive. I know our school uses Google Classrooms, so that's something that's kind of a nice way for them to drop off their things. There's other storage platforms, Dropbox, OneDrive, Box, Amazon Cloud Drive. Maybe your school district has something else that they've been using. So whatever you guys are comfortable with, there is no wrong way to have them drop it off. Another really nice way too is you can just have them email their projects if you want to. That is fine. Oh my goodness, we just skipped right through to a whole bunch of stuff. Just a second. So it just skipped me right to the end. Okay, Google Drive, here we go. So this is, okay, coordinating. Oh, you can have a social distance drop off. And so if you need them to email the projects, they can email the projects. They could put them on a flash drive and mail them out. So if you are in charge or if your committee, have those information, have your information and be available for people who need help. You know, you could have somebody on your committee that's tech support basically, that's going to be the one that people call to help with their downloading or with getting things on a flash drive or converting files. I will tell you right now, National PTA had a really hard time with the movie format, MOV format. So it really needs to be, especially once it starts getting to a higher level, it needs to be in an MP4 format for when it gets to state and national level. And so you can convert. So if they need help converting those files, they can. Usually MOV is it's an iPhone thing, it's an iOS thing. So iPhone, iPads, if they record off of those, they'll need to convert those. And you can also have a social distance drop off with just some drop off boxes in classrooms that teachers can collect at the end, or you have a certain drop off point. You know, it could be a box at the front of the school that parents can just run up and drop off their things. You can have it a variety of ways. You can have them, you can say, okay, we have these 3 ways. You can drop it off, you can email it, you can drop it in a Google Drive to get all of those. So this is coordinating your judging. So as I said, you do it when you are organizing. I think this was the scariest part about reflections for me, was the judging, was trying to get it over. And I realized after the first time I did it and making it way overcomplicated it, that it is so much simpler than I did. So let me show you as far as like what I did anyway for state reflections is, once I got everybody's, I put it in a Google Forms, Google Drive. And let me show you kind of how I set up for this. So we had, I'll do the visual arts projects. So I set up on a PowerPoint when we did for the judges, so I had the projects, and then I had what it was, visual arts, and then I had, this is the category, and then I highlighted, I copied and pasted the child's name. Boy, computer. Okay, so I pasted copied and pasted the title work and their artist statement and then their art project. And I put it, and so all the primary ones, and then next would be the intermediate, and I did this for every single one. So each category had a different PowerPoint presentation, and then I put it all into a Google Drive and shared that with the judges. So then they could go in there, they could bring it up and be able to do the projects from there. So that's how I did that last year as far as doing that. That is kind of what's nice about doing Google Drive, is you can email them literally and share them with literally anyone, anywhere. And so you're not having to try and recruit people from your area. I've had past winners that were now in college that were past state and national winners go ahead and judge. I have had the high school students. High school students are a really good resource for judging. A lot of them especially need a national NHS, the National Honor Society service hours, and they can totally use this. And it's really easy because then you can just share it with them and they can do that. And I will tell you, they take their judging very seriously. They, a lot of them thank me for giving them the opportunity to judge projects, that they have really a good time doing it. And so if you just coordinate with those teachers or with the National Honor Society, the teacher in charge of that, the staff member in charge of that, they can get that out and help you find students that will judge that. And usually what I like to do is have at least 2 3 was better that could judge it as far as tallying the scores and getting some differing opinions. But you can honestly have just one person judge a category as well.
So Mary Kay, just going to give you a 2-minute warning if you can get to the point where you're going to wrap up.
Okay.
And I did drop in the chat the deadlines for Idaho PTA, but that might be something you would want to cover as well.
Okay, perfect. And actually, we are almost to it. If you want to do an in-person judging event like you normally would, that's fine. And then Celebrate. So this year, you're probably going to have to do a virtual awards, which we did live Facebook Live, or you could do Zoom. However, just something that's kind of nice for the students, as I shipped all of their trophies and things to and certificates for them. For the state, had them take pictures of them, put it in a slideshow with the students. So they had them holding their little trophies and their medals with their project. So it's really fun, and hopefully, so it says it's online videos. We don't have time to watch it, but I noticed we had a lot. And then award pickup day. So you can mail them, you can have them pick them up from the school. However it is, you're gonna do that. And make sure that, pictures of the winners are great. And then obviously, if you have ideas, share your ideas. And as Erin said before, please, if you're new to reflections, pick 1 or 2 categories and say, this is what we're going to have our categories in, just to kind of get your feet wet in it. But it's inspiring, and I would highly recommend doing it. Some of us, I know a lot of the board, we've had the opportunity to go to the National Reflections Awards with the National PTA, and you give these kids a standing ovation and they walk across the stage and there is not a dry eye in the audience. And so it is amazing and very special, and I think it just goes right into the PTA mission. So if you have any questions, definitely go on to the website, or my contact information is under Reflections, but I really hope you guys will consider doing it this year for sure.
Thank you so much, Mary Kay. I did drop in the chat that for your school, the deadline to submit to your regional director your awards, your winners, is November 20th. State winners will be announced March 1st, and the national winners will be announced May 1st. And of course, this year we'll be doing a virtual award event, as I think everybody will be, and certainly national will be as well. But we will resume in-person Reflections Awards as soon as we can. And this is something that's grown over the last few years and has just really become something super special. I mean, we have like 200 people coming to our state Reflections Award ceremony. These kids are, they are dressed to the nines, and they've got their grandparents and their aunts and uncles and their cousins with them. And, they get to be recognized for their outstanding achievement in art. And I tell you what, there have been several times when there has not been one dry eye in the house, especially when a little boy, gets up who is deaf, blind, and mute, and uses his, I don't know what you would call it, but a sort of an instrument that spoke for him and described his piece of artwork and why he chose to do it. And we were able to put it on the big screen up behind him while he was there with his guide dog and his parents. I am telling you, it is just really something special. So I hope that you guys choose to participate in this really, it's just a really neat event. So, okay. We're getting close to being out of time, and I've got a presentation on running your PTA virtually, but I do want to give away a few more things. So I'm going to switch over to that, try to get a few of those handed out real quick, and then I'm going to talk about running your PTA in a virtual year and what that might look like for you, share some ideas with you. Okay, so let's do this real quick. All right. All right, Maggie Wilson, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Woohoo! All right. Maggie, would you like Subway, McDonald's, or Starbucks, or a Sparkle shirt?
I would love Starbucks. Thank you so much.
Right. You're welcome. Okay. Oops. All right, Anne, are you here with us tonight? I'm just clicking through the names. I don't see Anne with us. All right, Megan Sabori, are you with us? All right. Lisa Polson? Uh-oh. Watch, it's gonna click over to Melissa. You know what? I'm gonna give you both. I'm gonna give you both something. If Melissa's here and Lisa are both here, I'm both gonna give you an award or a gift card. Lisa, I see your name. I know Melissa was here.
Okay. Shoot, just went away. Megan isn't here. I took her spot. That's from Kelly Lobb.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is Melissa here?
Melissa's here. Yes.
Oh, great. Melissa, what can we get for you? Can we get you, let's see, we've got Starbucks, Sparkle shirt, McDonald's, and Subway left.
Sparkle shirt, please, for Melissa.
All right. Perfect. And I'm going to do one more. I'm going to hope that we can get one more person in here. Krista Summers.
Yay, I'm here.
All right. Krista, what can we get for you? Starbucks, McDonald's, Subway, or Sparkle shirt?
Starbucks, please.
All right.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Okay. Oh, no, stop. All right. Okay. So because I want to make sure that we have enough time to answer your questions, whatever questions you might have, I'm going to go through this a little quickly. We did touch upon quite a bit of it on Tuesday evening, especially as far as conducting meetings in a virtual year. And then I linked out to the elections guidance in a virtual year as well. But you know, we just want to make sure that you understand in this year that is different from any other that we have ever experienced as PTA leaders and parents and teachers and human beings, that the theme of this year is do what you can with what you have. You know, we know that many of us are running at a deficit. We're running at a deficit of officers. We're going to be running maybe at a deficit of members. We're going to be running, you know, on a lighter budget than we've had in the past. So you have to do what you can as a unit. So at a minimum, please try to maintain your standards of affiliation with Idaho PTA. These are things that are required of you as a nonprofit organization. They're not necessarily specific to things that Idaho PTA is asking for you. This is to make sure that you stay current with your 501c3 certification so that you can accept donations and maintain your nonprofit status. That means submitting your membership dues to Idaho PTA. That means submitting your board list. That means filing your 990 postcard that means paying your insurance dues. Those are your standards of affiliation. We went over those on Tuesday. We'll also have a link in the documents that we send out. It's also on idahopta.com under requirements and due dates. Julie covered off on them on Tuesday evening, but they're, most of your things are due in November. And we just want to make sure that you get those in. You may not be operating at 100% as a PTA, and we get that. We understand that if you're a unit that might have 120 units members typically, this year maybe you're not going to have 120 members. Like, we get it. But just try to get those documents in so that we know that you're there, you're operating, and you're maintaining that nonprofit status. Please continue to support your school and your children, including your online learners. So in some school districts, like the Boise School District, for instance, we've had the choice, right? If we want to send our kids to school physically, or if we want to send our kids to Boise online school. They're all still students within your school. Now, there might be some kids who have left and gone to being homeschooled, or they might have left and gone to charter school or a private school, or some other entity. But we really just want to encourage you to support all of those kiddos, families, parents that are still in your school community, whether they are learning online or whether they have chosen to attend physically. Continue to advocate for what your kids, parents, and teachers need. You're an important voice. If there's a school board meeting, I encourage you to reach out to your parent community and your families and find out what they want you to take to that school board meeting and attend that school board meeting. They're virtually being held for the most part across the state. So please log on to that school board meeting and at least be a presence for your parents and teachers and children. Assume that this year is going to be virtual. Plan ahead for your officer elections. I have linked to several places throughout Tuesday and tonight. There are a handful of places where our Idaho PTA's guidance on virtual elections has been linked. So that will come to you via email. You can reference that. You can reach out to Idaho PTA. We can walk you through that. But just plan ahead that most likely you're going to be operating your elections this year virtually. And again, do the best you can with what you have. If you're acting in good faith of your PTA unit and you're not, violating rules, egregiously, you're not going to be held accountable for that. Doing the best you can with what you have is kind of the key for this year.
Erin, could I ask one quick clarifying question?
Of course.
I am in the West Ada district, and I'm struggling with the advocacy for what your kids' parents and teachers need, because there is a lot of controversy going on about what it is that everybody needs, and parents do not agree. I don't know how, as a PTA, I know what I feel as a parent, but I don't feel like I can represent the PTA with that same opinion. How do you separate PTA appropriate things with personal things?
Yeah, I mean, that is a really great point. Yeah, that's a really great point. So, maybe showing up and being a presence without sort of taking a stance on either side might be the best course of action for you in your district.
Erin?
There's guidance from National PTA and some other state PTAs who have legal representation and have paid staff, so more than what we have here in Idaho. And I can try to pull those together and maybe link some of those in the documentation. But you're right, it does get tricky and it very quickly gets politicized. I think that when we are talking about advocacy, I think that where we want to stay as PTA is advocating for access to resources. So making sure that whether we're online or we're in person, that our kids and our teachers have everything they need. And so I really feel pretty strongly that you can maintain sort of a middle ground there. But you're right, it gets really tricky.
Erin, I think what I would recommend is in these
times. I'm sure that doesn't answer your question.
I guess I would recommend remaining neutral and being just the resource and keeping resources for both sides. Because sometimes being a political scientist, I've learned that sometimes you've got to put yourself aside and, like I said, focus on the children's benefits, all children.
Yep, and you certainly don't want to get into a situation where you have advocated for one thing over another. You certainly don't want to throw your PTA into the mix of being on one side of what very quickly will become a political debate. I do agree with Stephen in saying, like, you know, providing things like providing a town hall type of event where parents can come and voice their opinions. That could be an option. I mean, it might get heated real quick, but remaining a neutral party to allow for differing opinions to be shared, collecting different parent and teacher statements and delivering them to the school board, regardless of the side that they're on, could be something that your PTA does. But yeah, I would probably avoid taking a stance one way or another if you can.
Well, we could even use National's example. National, working with our Congress and our national legislators, they've not taken a stance, but their main focus is making sure the funding is there so the schools can provide the ultimate learning experience for the children.
Yeah, I agree. And somebody's dropped in the chat that, you know, we share the facts that we have been given and ways to support the teachers and staffs. And I think that that's really great guidance. It's as simple as that. Like, what you can do is say, here's what our school and our school district has decided. And so this is the course of action that we're going forward with. And here's how we can support our school community with what we have. But it's a tricky situation, and I don't think that there's any one sort of specific answer. But I think you have to. If anybody gets into a situation where there's something in your particular district that's getting particularly heated, and some interest group may approach you as far as like being on their side, or, you know, writing a letter in support of their side, please feel free to reach out to Idaho PTA and we can help like navigate through that with you. Sometimes it can sound really great and it can be a little jaded what an organization might be asking you to do. They might not be presenting all the facts up front. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Let's see. Again, please don't stop turning in your requirements or put your PTA on pause. We know that many of you are not operating at 100%, or you're not going to be offering the same events or fundraisers that you would in a typical year. But there are lots of great ideas out there to turn those things into something new or something different. But we don't want your presence as a support in the school and the school community to go away. Don't try to do everything that you were doing before. It's just likely not going to be possible. So do what you can, do what's feasible. Take a look at your schedule of events and think about what you can and what you can't do. Again, please don't exclude your online learning community. Don't exclude those kids who have chosen to be online learners. They're still a part of your community. And please don't stop communicating with and engaging with your families. There's so many resources out there, especially when you go to National PTA's site. They have wonderfully curated links from from different organizations that have been vetted, great things that you can share with your families. So even if your PTA is not doing any fundraising, holding any events this year, at the very least, you know, be a source of resources for them through whatever kind of communication you're using. You know, if you decide that you do need to fundraise, there are many virtual fundraising options. You just need to have and communicate a clear, immediately relevant purpose. If there's any other year to be very precise about what you're fundraising for, it's this year. People are likely not going to donate their funds to general PTA funds. You need to be specific and tell them what you're raising funds for. If you have any funds in reserve, you know, consider using those to make the most out of your donations, to leverage the donations that you do get this year, to make those go a little bit further. Beware of fundraising costs. You can alter your budget. You're not going to be utilizing the you know, venue costs that you may have budgeted in for specific events that you have every year. So take a look at that and realize where you have savings, and where you can take money out of this bucket and put it into a different bucket.
Erin, we had a quick comment from Kelly Love at Hunter Elementary. She said, our online learning community has pulled together all of the schools, so we aren't clear on how to support them. Our fundraising for the first half of the year will all be done via family food nights with local restaurants who have agreed to give us the percentage for takeout meals as well as dine-in.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, and I think every school district is handling it differently. In the Boise School District, like Liberty, so that's my home school, so I'm just gonna use them as an example. You know, their school community is still their school community. So whether you have chosen to be learning online, or if you've chosen to be learning in person, which of course that is also virtual currently now, but there's sort of two different pools of students. They're still all considered Liberty families. And so our principal, and I know the district communication has been that each school principal still communicate with all of those families together, and there's still one school community. So you'll have to take a look at how it's happening within your own school community, and you'll have to make adjustments as you can. If there's a way, you know, talk to your principal. If there's a way to communicate, if they're making a separation between those students who have chosen to learn online versus learn in person, if there's a way that you can still communicate and include those families in any type of events that you're having, I would highly recommend that. But like all I can do is, I know specifically like my home school is still including all of those in one pool. So there's going to be differences in every school district. But again, like if you need some help brainstorming through that, like let's talk and let's figure out what you can do. These are just a handful of ideas of different things that people are doing. Gaming parties. You can still, if an auction is something that you hold every year, you know, there are a multitude of platforms to hold an online auction. Walkathons and jogathons can of course still be held virtually pretty easily. And you can just straight up ask for donations. Just be specific with the things that you're going to be supporting with those donations. This PowerPoint will come to all of you, and so these will all be linked. There's virtual meetings guidance, best practices, safety tips, and our virtual election guide. So you'll be able to click on those, read through them, and sort of make a plan for your year. I want to make sure that everybody knows and understands that there's this amazing Facebook community called PTA Local Leaders. You can see there's over 6,500 members. This is specifically intended for local leaders just like you who are leading the efforts of their local units. I highly recommend that you go and join this Facebook group. There are so many, these are just from today. I think today or the last couple of days, National PTA posted a post about 6 ways to make your PTA virtual. So there's a handful of ideas there. This person shared an idea of different reward ideas, virtual award ideas. This person just asked a question. Anyone have suggestions for virtual assemblies? Or does anyone have ideas on what PTA is offering individual classes, you know, for virtual memberships? And then they've even dropped in their comments different graphics and things that they've used. There is a plethora of ideas out there that have already been talked about. You can use the little search function in the Facebook group to search for something that you may be curious about, or you can post there, and I'm telling you, you'll get, you know, quite a few responses. This is a really, really great resource and a community for you to utilize. I mean, this is like the ultimate idea share with PTAs all across the country. I didn't include a screenshot here, but I know earlier I did see somebody share a screenshot from a Zoom call where they had put out to their school community that they had a father who was like a chef or something, and he hosted a virtual crepe making lesson for families in their school, and it was just a really great community building experience. National PTA, I've highlighted just this drop down here for family resources. There are so many resources here. There's health and safety. There are things about assessments and standards, college and career readiness if you're in a PTA that is middle school or high school. Just so many resources here that you can include in your newsletters or your communications to families. Like I said before, even if your whole purpose this year is just to serve as a resource sharing for your families, this is a wonderful resource. And then finally, ask for help, please. Idaho PTA is here to help. In the documents that we'll send out is your contact list with your regional director. That's also already listed on our website. Or you can email idahoptaboard@gmail.com. That actually comes directly to me. And I'll either answer you or I'll get you to the right person. We know that each unit across the state is having their own set of individual issues. So we will help you brainstorm through that, make a plan. We can host a meeting for you. We can be a signer on your bank account. Like, you tell us what you need and we will try to make a plan with you to help you get through that. So I really wanted to leave a good 30 minutes for questions and Q&A. I know some of you probably have a hard stop at 8 p.m. So what I'm going to do is just give away a handful more prizes so that we can empty out our prize stash here. And then those of you who need to leave, feel free to leave. And those of you who want to stay and ask questions, I know that I'll stick around for as long as you need me to. So let me go back to my little wheel of prizes. Uh-oh. Okay. There we go. Oh. Must have been spinning while I was gone. Beth Bishop, are you still here? Beth is.
I am. I'm still here.
All right. Beth, we have a sparkle shirt, Starbucks, McDonald's, or Subway.
I think I'll take a sparkle shirt.
All right. And we'll email you guys who chose shirts, and we'll get your size.
Erin, I believe Starbucks is gone.
Oh, is it?
Erin?
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll stop offering Starbucks then. Sorry about that. Okay. I had 7 Starbucks on my list between the two nights, but we must have gone to 8. All right. How about Katie Hollingshead? Are you here?
I'm here.
All right. So
hello.
We've got sparkle shirt.
I would like a sparkle shirt, please.
All right. Cool.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That's the last of the sparkle shirts.
Woo-hoo.
Okay, so we'll give a couple more just to get through the rest of our gift cards here. Dory, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Dory, can we get you McDonald's or Subway? Uh-oh. Did we lose you? Dory, you're cutting out. I don't know if you can type that into the chat. Okay, we'll give her a minute to do that, and she can, and we'll do one more here. All right, Diana, are you here?
I am here.
Great. Diana, would you like to do McDonald's or Subway?
I would love McDonald's. Thank you.
Right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing for once. If anybody has a question that you want to ask right now, I just need to put everybody back into the drawing who want a gift card so that we can draw for the $100 for your PTA. But it's going to take me just 1 second to manipulate my Word document here. Does anybody have?
She muted. Does anybody have any questions while Erin's doing that? You can either just unmute and ask, or put your question in the chat area, and we'll definitely, or if you have something that you would like to share, if you have a really cool idea that you guys are doing with your PTA, we would love to hear that as well.
We had a question from Maggie. She said, our board loved your gift card giveaways during this training. Are we allowed to use PTA funds to purchase gift cards as an incentive for members attending our general meetings?
Yes. I believe the answer from our treasurer is yes, or ask for donations from businesses, local businesses.
Yes, you can. There's been a lot of controversy over this on some of the PTA boards as of late. And we actually had to get our national PTA attorneys involved to answer the question officially. Unless your state PTA has a rule against gift cards, you can do it. You need to limit them to $25, but you can do that. Like California, for instance, has just their state PTA says absolutely not, no gift cards. Idaho PTA does not have that rule. A national PTA does say, though, $25. Okay, I'm going to drop all of our, all of those names back into the drawing. Hopefully this will work. Paste those folks back in there. Oops. And Diana, I'm so sorry, I lost your last name on my list, but I believe you're the only Diana with 2 N's anyways. So, okay. All right, I'm gonna shuffle it a few times and then I'm gonna roll. Megan Jones, are you still here?
I'm here.
All right. You just won $100 for your PTA. What is your PTA?
Yay! It's Indian Hills.
Indian Hills. All right. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. We'll get with you to get that into the right place. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. But can teachers, okay, so can teachers use their funds to purchase gift cards, for example? Teachers pay teachers. I'm not sure I understand the question. So I think what you're saying is so if you're distributing funds to a teacher. Oh, Teacher Pays Teachers is a resource website. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure I quite understand the question. If one of you want to unmute and just talk to us directly.
So Erin, what I'm trying to say is for our PTA, we give our teachers a teacher allocation that they can use throughout the year. And so can they use that teacher allocation money for gift cards to things like Teachers Pay Teachers or Target, Walmart, wherever they feel like getting a gift card to? Can they use those funds for gift cards? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that would really be up to your individual PTA as to what you would allow. So I guess it would depend on, like, I assume that you have some sort of approval mechanism for teachers who are submitting for teacher funds to get reimbursed against, or do you just issue them money directly?
No, we have them fill out a form that typically says what they're spending their money on. Our biggest thing, like Teachers Pay Teachers, because it's a teacher resource and that's mainly directly to a classroom stuff, but something like Walmart, it's not really trackable that way to make sure that it's really going back to the classroom. And so what the stipulation.
Exactly. I would recommend putting in a policy on your reimbursement form or whatever you're putting out to teachers, telling them that, like, you know, something like Teachers Pay Teachers is acceptable. Something general like Target or Walmart would not be. If they need supplies, they just need to get the supplies and reimburse against the supplies. But you're exactly right. There's no trackability if teacher is using their $150 in classroom funds to purchase a Target gift card, unless they're then somehow submitting a receipt against it. That gets really tricky. I would say no.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh, a nice thing on that one too is if perchance they want, if they're putting in, you know, their I need this much and I'm going to use, I would like to purchase, it might be better for the PTA itself, instead of giving the money to the teacher and then having them purchase the gift card or promo code to Teachers Pay Teachers, that the PTA purchases that directly and then gifts it to the teacher.
Yeah, and that's always an option as well. Well, if nobody else has any questions, we'll let y'all go. It's already 9 minutes past 8, so we really appreciate you sticking in there with us tonight. And again, please just utilize us as a resource. This is a really tricky year. So please just reach out, whatever you need, and we can work through it and make a plan. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and best of luck on your PTA year. And apply for those COVID grants, please. We want to give away that money. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks.